Hey everyone, Lon Montgomery here with GetFocusToday.com. As we complete Module 3, we're almost there. This is the last lesson in Module 3, and then we're going to celebrate because it's very important that you celebrate at the end of each module as we move to the next. It's the small celebrations that will give you the confidence to keep going. It's the fuel, it's the motivation, it's the inspiration to keep you moving forward so you can reach your goal, that you can have that extreme focus power that this system was designed to give you. And I believe that these lessons are providing you with extreme value. And I want to thank you for investing in yourself and investing in this program. I do not take it for granted because there are many programs out there, but I believe that this program is uniquely designed to help you get to your destination. It's a vehicle in the shortest amount of time. So again, I want to take this time to thank you for investing in yourself and sticking with this training program. And you definitely will see results. And so in this module, as we conclude module 3, we're going to talk about a very controversial subject, and that is goal setting. And Bob Bill wrote a book, and you need to get that book. Matter of fact, I'll make it available. If you go to my website, www.getfocusedtoday.com, you'll see underneath our media, we have a list of resources. And one of the books that literally changed my life several years ago was Stop Setting Goals If You Want to Solve Problems. And so when we talk about throw away your goals, what we're really talking about is stop just writing a bunch of goals that go up on the board and you never get anything done. And for a lot of people, setting goals is an exercise in frustration because you're trying to project way out yonder somewhere. All right, I'm letting folks know that my Alabamaism is coming out. My folks from Huntsville, Alabama, so down yonder, or way out in the future. And what focus is really about is about being present. And so while we talk about creating focus lists, okay, and do I believe in setting long-term, short-term, mid-term projections? Yes, I believe in that. But I don't get so caught up in trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to be 5 years from now, what I'm going to do. You know, I have an idea of where I'm going, and I know that if I keep following this road, I will get to my destination. But I'm not creating a situation of anxiety of saying, oh my goodness, what will happen? Because you know what happens with the best laid plans? Remember we talked about flow like what? Water. So you don't let things bother you. So I may set out a goal. Let's say my goal is I want to achieve whatever. Let's say a second PhD. Those of you know that I'm currently finishing up my coursework for my PhD in human resources. So let's say I want to go for a second doctorate. It must be insane because the first one is tough enough. The rigors of a PhD program is no joke for those of you that know what I'm talking about. School in and of itself, when you're 48 years old and you're running a successful business and you're traveling doing 30 plus live events all over the country, can be taxing. That's why I know this system works, because there's no way I would be able to maintain almost a 4.0, a 3.89 GPA in a doctoral program, travel the country, coach the number of people that I coach, speak on platforms all over the country, and still have time for family and friends without having extreme focus power. So this system is continuously working in my own life. I live by the principles that I'm sharing with you. This is not something that I got from a book, got from my doctoral program. All right. Matter of fact, what I've been able to do is test some of these modules within my doctoral program. And that's a whole process of what they call internal and external validity. And that's a whole nother subject. So the point that I'm making is, instead of spending all your time trying to set these goals. And, you know, we talk about SMART goals. You got to be specific. It has to be measurable, right? It has to be obtainable, realistic, and then time stamped. The only part of that that's really true is time stamped. Because the truth of the matter is that some of the most significant goals that I've ever set, they were not realistic. They were not even attainable. All right. I was a kid that didn't learn to speak till I was 8 years old, that it was not even measurable for someone like me, all right, to end up going to college. The only thing that I knew is that I wanted to go to college. And I said, by this age, I'm going to college. That's all I said. I put a time stamp on my goal. And so, where a lot of people say, well, be specific, and I'll give you that. Okay, let's go with being specific. But don't get bogged down in everything having to be a certain way. All right? So my goal was I want to have a college degree by the time I'm 21, 22. All right? Then I began to work on just that simple goal of going to college. Then I began to say, okay, what type of college? Well, what do I want to do? At that time, I wanted to run hospitals, and one of the best schools in the state of Ohio for hospital nursing home administration was Ohio University. All right. Then I said, well, how will I go to school? My parents didn't have a lot of money. Okay. And I knew that I was halfway intelligent. And so I started saying I need to make these type of grades early on in high school so that I would qualify for a scholarship. And so I started working on improving my grade point average, and I was able to get a full academic scholarship to Ohio University, majoring in health services administration. But it started out just saying I want to go to college, all right, by a certain age. Then I started thinking about, well, what type of college? Well, what did I want to do? And so the point that I'm making is, at first, I didn't have a very specific goal, but I did have a goal. And that's what I want you to do, is to set a goal, but don't get bogged down if it's not specific. If it's not, matter of fact, have a crazy goal. Have a goal that is so outrageous that when you tell people about it, they say, you must be crazy. Because what I do know, my friend, is this. When you set your mind to do something, then guess what? You will accomplish it if you have a system to get there. We're not talking about pie in the sky, but we're talking about setting a goal that says, you know what? This is something that I will do. I will myself to do it. It may take you a little while. You may have to figure out the right vehicle to get there, but I want you to set a goal and put a time stamp. By this time, I will. And I guarantee the universe will conspire to make sure it happens. A great book to read is The Alchemist, because it talks about that. When you set your mind to do something, that the universe will conspire to make sure it come to pass. The other thing about getting rid of goals is you're not, it's like New Year's resolution. Everybody set a goal. I'm going to lose X amount of pounds. And they lose 20 pounds and they gain 50 pounds. Why is that? Or people say they feel pressure to get all their goals done within a certain amount of time. That's why we don't say, part of our motto of Get Focused Today is get focused, refocus, so you can stay focused. And focus on doing one, no more than 3 things at a time. I've seen some people, they got a goal list. There's 20 things on the goal list. They say, well, 10 of these are my short-term goal. Then the next 10 is mid-range goal. And then my long-term. Listen, if you want to have a goal, you know what? This is my goal. It's a timestamp. And work on solving problems. See, for me, the goal was go to college. The problem was, how do I get there? So what was more important for me? Work on solving the problem so I can get there. Well, I'm going to break this lesson up because I'm already hitting 10 minutes, and that's too long because we try to keep these around 7 minutes. And so we're right around 10 minutes. So I'm going to conclude this segment on throw away your goals, and then we're going to celebrate and move into segment 4.